deposit 100.
What?
I closed up.
Okay.
I had four documents. I had four. And I took that. You're supposed to talk about the training. Now I'm going to teach other people.
I was going to ask her, but they're the ones that put it up there. They would have to put it down. They're all in the hole.
I'll talk to the one teacher who's over.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Winslow Township Board of Education meeting, regular meeting of Wednesday, April 30th, 7 p.m. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in a notice dated January 9th, 2025. Adequate and electronic notice of this public meeting has been provided specifying the time, place, and manner in which this meeting is being conducted. It was advertised in a Courier Post, posted in all schools, the administration office, the municipal building, the library, Bud Dugal Center, Edgewood Acres, Elmtown, and the Winslow Township post offices. Mission statement. The mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, and caring and confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community and in a climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourages students to strive for personal excellence, assist them in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to contribute positively to a rapidly changing world. Roll call, please.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Mrs. Redmond? Here. Mr. Lowe? Present. Ms. Martin? Present. Mr. Nash?
Here.
Ms. Peter? Present. And Ms. Spitz?
Ms. Fitz will be absent tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas?
Present.
And Mr. Shaw?
Present.
You have a form?
Can everybody please stand for the pledge of allegiance and remain standing? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we all remain standing. I'd like to give a moment of silence for Mrs. Vincent Ludwig, who not only was a gentleman and a pillar of this community, he passed away this weekend. So I'd like to give him a moment of silence, please. Thank you. District goals, please. 2024-2025 district goals. Student achievement to continue to implement best practices for delivering instruction to students, and this shall include: A, conduct weekly administrative walkthroughs to monitor teaching and learning. 2, consistently review student assessment data to guide and redirect teaching. 3, continue to provide supplemental activities such as tutoring and enrichment periods to address student deficiencies. 4, benchmark assessment for 9th grade math and language arts. And number 2, create a safe and positive learning environment for students and staff. A, strictly enforce the district student code of conduct. B, focus on upper elementary school students, modify student behavior in the early grades. C, reinforce positive behavior in a specific and genuine way. D, approach discipline with care, respect, and desire to see the good in all students. 3, increase parent, caregiver, and community engagement in education by A, provide opportunities for two-way communication with district stakeholders. B, continue with communication consortium. C, focus on refining our communication methods and messages to better market our schools. And D, continue with our public relations within the community. Thank you very much, Mr. Hernandez.
Dr. Petit, reports and presentations.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board and community, we do have one presentation this evening. I would like to call Ms. Lori Kelly to the podium to introduce the school for performers. Ms. Kelly, and of course, Ms. Kelly is the principal of the school number 4. Ms. Kelly.
Thank you, Dr. For this presentation, if the board members want to take a seat or prepare in the front row, we have some reserved seating. We have one more group of students making their way in, and then we'll be starting. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. While we're still setting up, good evening, Board of Education President, Mr. Shaw, members of the board, Dr. Poteet, Mr. Davis, parents, families, and members of the community. This evening, school board third grade students and their siblings are excited to present a portion of their spring concert titled A Kid's Life, which is about times when kids played good old-fashioned games that did not include technology. Our exceptional music teacher, Ms. Manta, and amazing physical education teacher, Ginny Hillary, have arranged and choreographed the show. Students have been working hard and are excited to perform for you this evening. We hope you enjoy the show.
It's a Kid's Life is a rocking musical about the joys and challenges of being a kid in today's high-tech world. It's an exciting time, a most excellent adventure. Nowadays, young people are getting their kicks in a much different way than kids did years ago. Unlike days of yore, when fun was dependent on what was really available to your day-to-day life. So much of youth leisure time is spent staying connected to technology, iPads, cell phones, games, podcasts, and many more. But what if all of that suddenly went away? That's where the music and fun all begins.
It was a day like any other. I woke up, took off my headphones for 30 seconds, take a shower, sent a text message to my sister in the other room so I wouldn't have to talk to her. Even my mom with my breakfast going on, she's old-fashioned nowadays. She starts at 2 and slipped in there and thought, hey, I'm still a kid. How cool is that?
Kids, there's a whole world out there. It's all about using your imagination. Look at the clouds. What do you see?
I
see an elephant chasing a rhinoceros over plains of Tanzania.
Good for you. 42,000 towards each other. Excellent. I see a puppy. Nice. I see flowers on the hill. I see flames on the ocean. I see mountains soaring upward. I see animals in the looking at the sky, the rainbows and station, miracles can happen falling down on the blue. I see a world in my imagination, anything I dream just might come. See flowers on the see rain on the ocean. I see mountains soaring upward. I see I don't know why you're also jumping. Did someone say jumping? You're not going to teach us to jump rope, are you? Sure, jumping rope can be a lot of fun and important of a kid's life. Grandma, jump roping is for little kids. Little kids, you happen to be looking at the 1976 jump rope champion of Winslow Township. You, Grandma, you used to jump rope? Used to? What's all the talk about used to? No, you are not. You bet I am. But you're too old. I mean, Grandma, jump roping is for little kids. No, ma'am. Come on, Grandma, show 'em what you got. Come on, kids, let's jump up and rock.
Amazing, boys and girls. Thank you so much. That was really great. I'd like to give a special thank you to our administration and Board of Education for your continued support for visual and performing arts in our schools. I'd also like to give a special thank you to our school board teachers that are here this evening. And one more round of applause for Ms. Stampa and Ms. Shalari and our third grade students. So at this time, parents, our students are going to return to the band room. Parents, you can exit through the back door here and go back into the hallway where you can pick up your child right around the corner. Thank you so much.
You still feeling it up.
Remember you said you home?
Moving on to correspondence. Do we have any correspondence today? Thank you very much. Moving on to board minutes. Can I have a motion for the regular meeting minutes, April 9th, open session?
Motion, make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the Board of Education, regular meeting on April 9th, 2025, open session.
Second, Mr. Clark.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Stratton? Yes. Ms. Flora? Yes. Ms. Martin? Yes. Mr. McManus?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson? Yes. Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Shaw?
Abstain.
Motion.
Moving on to board committee reports. Mr. Thomas, do you have anything for the athletic committee?
Yes, I do. First and foremost, I'd like to take this time to recognize our
committee amending award to Mr. Darius people who just came in. I want to recognize him for being, and thank you for coming. Also, before I get into that report, I'd just like to, and I'm sure Ms. Murphy's daughter is going to come up and do her report for the Bay, the guards, and the winds. They had a phenomenal weekend this weekend. So I want to still have fun, but I want to let them know we were watching and we want to contribute to your success as well too. Just to get into what's going on in the athletic department, so much stuff that's going on that I'm just going to synopsis, just break it down for what I see. That they did a lot of things. And we talk about the athletic department a lot because they compete every week and they win every week. So that's why we talk about it a lot, because they do a lot of stuff from week to week. One thing that they did this week or the week before, they won the Woodbury Relay. There were 16 events. Out of the 16 events, they came in first place out of 14 out of 16 events. This is girls and boys. The other two events, they got second and third. So it was a phenomenal weekend. The Woodbury Relay, the Olympic Conference, featuring division championships, the county championship, the Group 3 South Sectional Championship, the Group 3 State Championship. And this past weekend with the Penn Relays, they qualified to run in the Meter Champions of America, which competed against all and every high school team in the country. They didn't win, but the fact that they got there with 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores, which is a phenomenal feat, to saying that our Winslow girls track team will be in good company moving forward. They have the middle school girls, they won again at the Penn Relays for the 3rd year in a row. The middle school boys in the 3rd Penn Relays, which is another great feat. And as I can say, we just keep doing good things in our athletic department, and we just want to give them an overall kudos to what they're doing. And also, I just want to point out our community youth personnel basketball. Katie Smith held the first Adidas basketball tournament today at our facilities. So we just want to promote that we're not only for the district, we are for the community and youth, and that's what we want to report.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Ms. Martin, anything for the Citizens Advisory?
Citizens Advisory meeting is Thursday, May 5th at 6:30 in the administration building.
Thank you very much.
Education meeting is on Tuesday, May 6th at 4 p.m.
Okay. Mr. McManus, anything for the marketing committee?
Nothing at this time, sir.
Mr. Shaw, and Mr. Becker has been.
Oh, okay, very good. Sorry, Ms. Nieves.
Forgot short people problems. All right, so the Citizen Advisory Committee met April 3rd. Scroll, sorry, it's very lengthy. Yes, April 3rd at 6:30 p.m. Some things that were discussed were the honor and recognition ideas, an athletic hall of fame, an academic hall of fame, and a veterans hall of fame, top honorable participants, suggested naming of the field of the Edgewood Legacy Sports Complex to honor past, present, and future individuals. There was discussion on volunteers, a policy on how to be a volunteer and how we can make those recommendations. Parent visitation is still available, they just need to be certified. The suggestion of a watchdog, a volunteer group that would go into the schools to assist students and teachers. We wanted to talk to teachers again to gain info and reports on prep time, coverage, and classroom coverage at lunch duty, KPIs, and what they are measuring. Right now, academic special area personnel are covering lunch duty. Contact other schools to understand how they are successful in having parent-teacher involvement. As an example, Cherry Hill School uses parents to fill subbing spots. Tutoring, are there any KPIs available? Information on the number of tutors, breakout sessions versus academic sessions, how they're keeping track of students. For example, sign-in sheets and in-person versus computer-driven. Topics for our next meeting include parent-teacher engagement, tutoring criteria for selection of students, addressing progress, and more reading programs in schools to assist students. The CAC does have 3 official recommendations coming out of our April meeting. One being Arts Hall of Fame and an Academic Hall of Fame. The CAC proposes the establishment of both an Arts Hall of Fame and an Academics Hall of Fame at Winslow Township High School, in addition to the existing existing sports Hall of Fame. We believe that the creation of these recognitions will significantly enhance the educational environment, further support student learning objectives and district-wide goals, and appropriately celebrate the diverse talents and achievements of our current and past students. Winslow Township High School has a rich history of student excellence that extends far beyond the athletic field. We have witnessed remarkable achievements in the arts, including theater arts, chorus, dance, orchestra, and theater crew. As noted, talented alumni have gone on to achieve significant success in highly competitive fields such as Broadway performances and professional dance careers with renowned artists. Recognizing these accomplishments through an Arts Hall of Fame will provide current students with inspiring role models and broaden their understanding of potential pathways to success. It will highlight the dedication, discipline, and creativity inherent in artistic pursuits, fostering a greater appreciation of the arts within our school community. Similarly, Winslow Township High School consistently produces students who demonstrate exemplary academic achievements. Many of our graduates pursue advanced degrees, including master's and doctorates, and make significant contributions to research and innovation in their respective fields. An Academics Hall of Fame will serve to honor these outstanding intellectual accomplishments, showcasing the rigor and value of academic excellence. This recognition will inspire current students to strive for higher levels of learning, celebrate intellectual curiosity, and demonstrate the diverse ways in which academic success can manifest in the world. Okay, that was super long. Let's see. Number 2, the athletic field naming. The CAC strongly recommends exploring the cost of renaming an athletic field. If renaming proceeds, we propose Edgewood Legacy Hall of Fame, and as noted for past, future, and current athletic achievement there. I'll try to stick to this. And number 3, the third recommendation was in crisis management, stronger protocols and more transparent communication. Just to acknowledge any profound impact of tragedy and loss in the community, clearly communicate the availability of support services, provide accurate and timely information to prevent the spread of misinformation and rumors, demonstrate the district's commitment to the well-being of its community, and offer a platform for collective grieving and healing. And there are some more things that go along with that, but I will include that in the report that I will send out to the board and for their review. And if there were any questions, I will take those. Just want to point out I wasn't at this meeting, so I might have to defer to Ms. Tomasello, but. No? Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Nieves, the second one, you made a recommendation to the board in reference to the naming of the athletic field. You did make a statement. I didn't get that. Do you have or will you be giving us just that recommendation? Because it's important that we include that in the recommendations that we already have in place. So would you provide that for us as soon as possible so that we can include it with the others?
Absolutely, and with the other 2 as well. Like I said, they're very lengthy, and I don't want to take up too much time reading the entire report, but that was the gist of the report and the conversation that was had in that meeting.
Thank you.
Also, Mr. President, I have a statement or a request of the marketing committee, if I may. I would just be in line with what we've done in the past years, because I know past years we did a phenomenal job with this. There's an opportunity to collaborate with the township on for events. I know I emailed everybody every day, but I've been asking us to come together to see how we can present our Winslow Township State Championship School at these events in collaboration. And that's the Juneteenth on 6/21/25. And of course, the 4th of July fireworks here Friday on 7/4/2025. We have the Family Day at 8/23/25 and the Fall Festival. I'm just seeing if we can get a consortium to make sure that our Board of Education's tent is occupied and ready to be in the winning mode when it comes to these events in collaboration with the township.
Can we have a presence at those events?
Absolutely. I think that is pretty much a board decision, but if you want us to have the tent at those events, it's just a matter of requesting. we continue there.
Does anybody on the board have a problem with, having board representation at the event?
Mr. President, that was a request that was put in last meeting. We'll have a tent over at Juneteenth celebration.
Okay.
And, but I love Mr. Thomas's idea about having especially the folks that cream that has risen to the top regarding different athletic programs also represented there.
Anybody, we have to put in the form of a motion or?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a
Recommendation.
All right, so recommendation out there, and Dr. Whitney says, okay. Be able to do that without a problem.
Mr. President, keep in mind, we will provide 10 chairs as far as what the board intends to do at these events. That's a decision you guys have.
Right. We'll leave that up to the party
Who will
committee.
be attending, if you want to have the handout, what they will do, those are all the integral parts that go into being present. Those things still have to be worked out, right? As far as putting up a tent around things, you can do that.
Okay. We'll leave the logistics up to the marketing committee.
Yes, yes.
And thank you, Ms. Nieves, for your report. Operations committee? Policy committee? I know it's out, not going to have any report, but anybody that's on that committee, was there any?
At this time.
Okay.
Mr. Thomas, for the two township committees that you're on?
No report at this time.
Okay. And I have none for the planning board, so we'll move on to superintendent's report. Can I have a motion to approve the superintendent's report as he recommends it for approval?
Yes, I make a motion to accept the superintendent's report that begins on page 3, letter A, 1 through 25 on page 6.
Second, Mr. Clark.
All right. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Stratton, Ms. Floyd,
Yes.
Ms. Martin, yes. Mr. McMahon,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson, yes. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I have a motion on the business administrator board secretary's report as it's recommended for approval by the superintendent and board administrator.
Make a motion for the business administrator board secretary's report to begin on page 7, letter A and B, 1 through 21 on page 11.
Second, Mr. Clark.
Any questions? I just have one question for you, Ms. Board. So the projects that are going out for DOE approval, they're just going up there for DOE approval. How far along are they? Or how far out are they from the non-bid process?
Protection. But this is strategic. Oh, I'm sorry, I feel I turned my head to look into it. It's a strategic step that has to be taken so that we can get it out
Okay,
in the project.
thank you. Any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Stratton, Ms. Floyd, Ms. Martin, yes. Mr. McMahon,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson, yes. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Shaw.
Yes, but I have to recuse myself from, on the vendors,
the list, or the bill list on the vendors list on page 10, PO number 6380.
Frank,
8, it's for Starlight Pediatrics.
so the motion.
Moving on to the personnel report, and I have a motion to approve the personnel report as the superintendent recommends it for approval.
I make a motion to accept the personnel report that begins on page 12, letter A.
I have to make one correction, I'm sorry, real quick. There's one correction on that. I need to make sure everybody has it before we go through that. On page 18, letter B, can everybody make sure that on letter B, it says Shelby Shaw? Could you repeat that, Mr. President? On page 18, letter B, can everybody make sure that it says Shelby Shaw? The Assistant Drama Director.
Mr. President, is it B?
EB.
BB.
B, down the bottom.
Everybody's good? We can move on with the motion then.
Okay, I make a motion that the personnel report, in at page 12, letter A, 1 through 22 on page 21.
Second, Mr. Clark.
Any questions?
Yes, Mr. President, on page 13, number 4, high dosage tutoring that started on March 1st, going through May 30th. How many are participating as of March 1st or as of April 30th?
Which number is that, Ms.?
Number 4 on page 13 is the 2024-2025 high dose tutoring.
You want to know how many teachers or students are participating? I don't have that number in front of me, Ms. Peterson, I can provide that for you.
That would be one more, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden, Ms. Floyd, Ms. Marshall, yes. Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
The motion has carried.
Moving on to our addendum. And I have a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Everybody take a couple minutes to read over the addendum, please. I have a motion to approve the superintendent's report as the superintendent recommends it for approval.
Make a motion that we accept the superintendent's report with page 1, letter A, 1 and 2.
Second.
Second, Mr. Clark.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden, Ms. Floyd, Ms. Martin, yes. Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson, yes. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
And I have a motion to approve the board secretary's report as it's recommended by the board administrator, board secretary, and the superintendent.
I make a motion that the board secretary's report beginning on page 1, letter A, and goes through to page 3.
Second, Mr. Clark.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Stratton, Ms. Lloyd,
Yeah.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving on to the personnel report. Can I have a motion to approve this personnel report as a superintendent?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we table personnel report, letter number A, item 1.
Second that motion.
Mr. Shaw with a motion and a second to table. Under Robert's rules, there is no debate if the table is successful. If it's unsuccessful, then it'll be up for approval, or denial, and then there can be discussion, but there can't be at this point.
Okay.
And a motion to table takes priority, so you need to proceed immediately to a roll call on that matter.
Okay. Ms. Bowe, we have a roll call on that?
Yes, so I had a motion by Mr. Thomas,
Mr. Thomas
seconded by
McManus.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Stratton, Ms. Lloyd,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
The motion has carried.
Now, Mr. President, we need a motion from item 2, on page 4 of the addendum through the bottom of page 6.
Yeah, we're gonna have a motion for personnel report, page 4, number 2. Vote to motion to number 7.
Second, Mr. Clark.
Any questions on those items? Roll call?
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Stratton, Ms. Lloyd, Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Going back to our regular agenda. Open Public Records Act request.
You didn't have the completed ones.
Thank you. Moving on to the informational items. Are there any informational items?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the Board of Community Forum, I move forward with the information items. I want to remind everyone that our student representative is here tonight, and we have not given her an opportunity. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge her and allow Ms. Dudley, if she has anything she would like to share with us on behalf of the high school.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to report that today our school held a seasonal sports assembly to honor our winter sports athletes. And looking forward, our student government's most upcoming events for Teacher Appreciation Week. Alongside Mrs. Garrett, we plan a board of groups tonight to show our gratitude for our teachers next week. That's all. Thank you.
Ms. Dunn, I'm so sorry, I didn't see you down there.
That's all right, Mr. Shaw. At some point, Mrs. Dutton is going to share with us some important information in reference to her future goals. A brief conversation with her, but I'm going to let her tell you that at the appropriate time. But I just want to say in advance that I am proud of Ms. Dutton and her future endeavors and the things she has planned here. So, Ms. Dutton, congratulations on behalf of the board administration. If you feel that you would like to share that personal information, you can do so. All right? Well, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I do have some information items. However, a couple of housekeeping things I'd like to bring to your attention. In your folders, you will find the viewing information for Mrs. Smith's husband. I wanted to make sure that everyone had that information, so that if you or friends and family would like to attend, that information is made available to you. I also have in those folders from Strauss Esme. This is an annual educational policy and school law seminar. If you are interested, you have to apply or register by May 21st. 2 board members can attend at no cost, and if any other board members would like to attend, it will be $100 per person. I know over the years we have participated in these seminars, so I want to make sure that information was available to all of you. Moving to my information items, I'd like to give you a couple updates. As you know, we've been having our conversation about Chromebooks. At our last school board meeting, the board approved us moving forward with providing one-to-one Chromebooks at the middle school and high school. However, I think I need to make a clarification. I've been using the term useful life when we are talking about pertaining to Chromebooks. After our last board meeting, my leadership and I had a long conversation about what does that mean, useful life of Chromebook. So we pretty much had that question, asking ourselves, are the Chromebooks that we say useful life is expired, does it mean Chromebooks are no longer useful, or are they limited in what they can do? Dr. Carcamo had a conversation with the principal at the middle school as well as the principal at the high school, and this is what was determined. When we purchase new textbooks, many of them have online components, and many of the new programs may not be compatible to the Chromebooks that we presently have in place. In some cases, it may be the memory or the technology components. In some cases, they can be upgraded. We can upgrade so that we can accommodate those new programs, and in some cases, it may not. So if the Chromebook is not compatible, it does not mean that they cannot be used for other purposes in our schools. If the Chromebook can still be used for, and most of them are, research, our Google Classroom, our state assessments, and all of our district programs, then those Chromebooks still have a useful life. So what we're going to do, we still want to discard those Chromebooks that are old, but we're going to continue to go through the process of upgrading our Chromebooks on a rotating basis. So with that being said, I just want all of you to know in the community that we have enough Chromebooks for our state assessment, which is very important, and we will be able to provide a Chromebook for each of our students, 7th through 12th grade, in the 25-26 school year. We've already purchased or placed an order to purchase 600 Chromebooks, 400 for the high school, 200 for the middle school, and we ordered an additional 200, which is 800 Chromebooks, which would be more than enough for us to continue with the one-to-one for our students 7th and 12th grade. All right, any questions in reference to that?
Doctor?
Yes, sir.
Question regarding the useful life of the Chromebook.
Yes.
Was there a recommended time frame by the manufacturer that would go by, like say 5 to 6 years or whatever?
We normally try to do a 3-year rotation.
Okay.
And in some cases, when we don't do all of them, those Chromebooks are still useful. The problem we run into, or the concern we have, most of the new textbooks that we purchase now have a technology component. And when we purchase those new textbooks, some of the older Chromebooks may not be able or aren't compatible to those new programs. So on the other hand, we may be able, the company may be able to make some changes so that the Chromebooks are compatible, or we can decide to, again, just go ahead and purchase some new ones. But again, we usually make that determination over a 3-year period. But in some cases, when we don't, those Chromebooks still have a useful life for us. As long as they can manage our state assessments, as long as the students can use it for research in or outside the classroom, a Google Classroom, and all those other, any programs we have in the school district, if they can continue to be used for that purpose, then we don't necessarily have to roll them over. But we are pretty much on a 3-year rotation.
And I believe that you also had shared before, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we have in our in-house technology department, we also have the ability to perform upgrades on
Yes.
these older models that
Yes.
be able to get some more functional utility out of them.
Yes, yes, we can.
Thank you.
Yes, we can.
I have a question. So we want to continue to, with the original motion to ensure that each seventh grader through 10th grader, seventh grader through 12th grade get assigned their own Chromebook. Am I correct?
Yes, that was part of the original response. Yes. So 7th through 12th grade, we'll have one. All right?
If I can, I just like to say, thank you to the administration and the board, because I know this has been a topic for 2 years. And I'd just like to thank all who supported it and championed it to get us to this point where we can do new things to serve our community.
The second thing is the technology audit. We have identified a vendor to perform the technology audit. The name of the company is Carasoft. Carasoft is an approved New Jersey School Board Association vendor. The cost for the audit came in pretty much where we anticipated. It's going to be $168,644. We would like to present that offer to the board at our next school board meeting. However, as I mentioned to you before, we will be asking that vendor to come and make a presentation before the board on the 14th, so that we have a better idea of the scope of work. And if there are any other questions you have that opportunity to address those questions. So they will be coming in on the 14th. That concludes our information items for this evening. And if you have any additional questions you'd like to ask, I'll be more than happy to.
I have one to continue concerning that audit. I would ask you, could we send a robocall out to the parents, let them know that they will be looking at a new, so they can come in and possibly be a part of this communication process with the IT information?
If that is the wishes of the board, then we can do that, Mr. Thomas.
I think that's a good idea.
Done.
And I have an information item I'd like to read Dr. Cook.
Yes, sir.
During Mr. Shaw absence, Dr. Cook shared with me that he met with Mr. Mario Parti, Executive Director of Community Care Food and Clothing Pantry, representatives of the Southern Regional Food District Center, and with Mrs. Marcy Tomasello, representing the community to discuss the possibility of establishing a food bank in one or more of our schools. He shared with me that the major concern for the district is finding a safe space in the school to store food and how the food will be directly distributed. Principals will be asked to go to the buildings to see if they can accommodate a food pantry of any size. Once this process is completed, we will contact Mr. Martin and let him know the district can establish a food pantry in the district for the next school year.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Thomas? And just refresh me, Mr. Party over at CCU, correct?
Yes.
Is that, the closed distribution in particular, is that focused on Winslow Township only, or is that an original thing?
I think
The school pantry will be focused primarily about residents and those children who attend Winslow Township schools.
And then any idea on the closed and things like that?
Pretty much the same, but our primary focus has been just a food pantry. Even though Mr. Party represents the clothing aspect of it, that was not a part of our conversation.
All right, thank you. Can I ask another question? I know this is coming to a shock to everybody. The Sprouts estimate, when do you need to know? Like, I'd like to know this.
Right, oh, that doesn't necessarily have to come directly to me. Mrs. Boyle, the board secretary, if you would let her know, as soon as possible, fill out the attachment that you have there. Mr. President, I would say the first two go free, and then everyone else after that will have to pay $100. So let Mrs. Boyle know, fill out the information so she can keep a record of who will be attending, because it, of course, come back to the board for approval.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I have a question, going back to the food thing. Because I volunteer at 3, and all 3 are in Winslow Township.
Yes.
School 3 with, Perfecting Church, I do it with Part T at the Delegate, and then I go to the one that is that First Baptist.
Right.
All of them focus on Winslow. How different would the one for the school district be?
I think the emphasis would be that the children or the students in the school will have direct access to the food, and they can, and as I shared with Mr. Thomas, discreetly take the food home. I think it's important that we try to provide and protect some privacy for these young people, that it doesn't become an issue of them taking food home on the bus and the other students not really understanding, making an issue where they don't necessarily want to participate in it. But it's primarily the children. What was explained to me is we will bring in, and this Tom Seller is one of those representing the community as a volunteer, that they have individuals who come in, help package the food, put it in backpacks so young people can just wear backpacks home. And the little people, of course, will communicate with their parents, put it on the bus, and the parents can greet them, that sort of thing. I think the need for food has gone beyond what we really and truly understand. It used to be, a situation of the greatest need, but I think the need for food has expanded beyond that. I mean, with the economy the way it is, I understand, and what was made clear to me, and I agree, if you as a family want to pay for whatever amount of food that is, then fine. But if someone else can get that amount of food and take it home for free, it is what it is. And I think at this point, our free reduced lunch numbers continue to grow each year, which means that more families are in need. And I'll end with this. My main concern at this point is location in the schools, where it's going to be safe. It's not going to create a problem, because as I shared with Mr. Partee, that the winter months, when it gets cold, all kinds of things want to come inside. And if you don't have a secure place for food, then we're going to create another problem for us. So I will be working with the building principals, and we will make hopefully a final recommendation. If we can, we're going to do it, because I know there's a need out there. But I need to make sure it's something that's definitely going to work. They even mentioned to us, because perishable items, they would provide a refrigerator and things like that, because I told them you can't leave food that's perishable anywhere in our schools overnight, because that will not work for us. And we have to have a great cleaning program afterwards, because, there's a lot of things. We spend a lot of time in trying to maintain our schools, making sure they're clean, prepared for the following day. So working with them, and they had a lot of great ideas and suggestions, but I just need to make sure on our end that we can in fact provide this service in a way that's not going to cause any additional issues for the school district. So we will be looking at that and hopefully be making a recommendation before the end of the school year.
And I'd like to say something. So when the pantry situation came up a couple of years ago while I was on the CDC at my school, Marcy Tomasello, and Mario and a couple other people, we all went out and we went to different schools, and we actually got to see the pantries in action. And when we saw the pantries in action, that's when we knew that we had to bring it to our community. So when you see the pantry get in action, once we get everything situated with you, Dr. Poteet, and all your administrators at the school buildings, you're going to see not only do they keep the pantry 100% in compliance with safety and sanitation, but you're going to see what greatness it brings to our community, for our kids, and for the families who need that extra food. And that's all I can say.
And I'd just like to piggyback on that, on how we give the community opportunity to make suggestions and show that we listen, and we do what's best for the students and for the residents. We want to keep that kind of collaboration and opportunity open to all.
Yes, I'm finished, thank you.
Moving on to old business. Is there any old business?
Yes, Mr. President, I want to thank the board for making a significant contribution to the Lewis Johnson family, that the checks and cash were given out tonight with board member Wanda Floyd with me. So thank you for your contributions. I think they'll go a long way. They were very impressed.
Anybody else? Just a reminder that, was it May 7th, I think it is, the nominations for the athletic field are closing?
It goes on May 7th, and I forward an additional one to you, Mr. Thomas. If I'm counting correctly with the recommendation of Mrs. Nieves, we should have 5 recommendations so far.
I just wanted to remind everybody about that.
May 7th, this is closing.
Also, I want to recognize Mr. Watkins for his attendance here tonight, particularly from work break.
And Mr. Thomas, if you would remind the community that the special meeting on May 7th.
Yes. Also, on May 7th, we have our special budget meeting here in the middle school cafeteria.
As the, administration.
Oh, is that the administration building? Okay. Sorry about that. Correct.
6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock at the administration building. All right, moving on to new business. Any new business, Dr. Poteet?
No, sir.
All right. Can I ask a question? Yes, sir. There was a member of the community approached me and they had a question. I know the answer to it, but I think maybe for, if they're either here or watching, maybe for their own edification. They asked this question: is there a general slush fund that's available that we use? I know the answer, but
Slush fund?
let me just.
I can tell you the answer, no.
I know, but the observation was made that, number one, the technology that we're about to do, that a significant cost to that, and we had the money in the budget from it, and we're line item transfers, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
And then was also, we had committed to adding a number of assistant principals that again had, that had no quote unquote effect on the budget, because they were able to draw funds from somewhere else within the budget that hadn't been allocated. So I just wanted to allow maybe a comment or two, a public comment or two regarding that, just from the individual's observations and how you share that.
No, there is no such thing as a slush fund. When we prepare our budgets, as you will see, we set aside X number of dollars for certain things. For example, I'll use supplies. Let's say we set aside $1 million for supplies for the entire school district. And at the end of the school year, like where we are now, we can go back and look at all of our line items and see if there's money left over. if there's money left over, the school district as a whole, including the building level, have an opportunity to use those monies for things that we need right now, so that next year, because, for example, the assistant principal, next year, instead of putting $1 million in the supply, we'll put $800,000, because the $200,000 is already covering those 2 additional positions. So basically, what we're doing is just redirecting the money. So we go through the budget every year. Now, for example, a year down the road, we know we have $800,000 in supplies, that we will budget $800,000, and we believe that we can still provide the district and all other entities everything we need at this point for next year with $800,000 in supply, as opposed to $1 million. That happens, and just like your home budget, I make sure in dealing with Mrs. Boyle that we don't budget to the dollar. You know, because if you budget to the dollar, you're going to overspend, and then we're right back at trying to find money from somewhere else to cover it. So, no, I think the business department, Mrs. Boyle in particular, in our meetings, we always budget according to our needs, but we always make sure we have a few dollars in there for emergencies, because there are things that happen all the time. Now, as far as Chromebooks are concerned, the money for 800 Chromebooks, we're back, sat down with Dr. Carcamo. Dr. Carcamo purchasing textbooks. We can wait another year for that particular textbook, because we found out that the textbook that we're presently using had not given or provided a new edition. So we're not going to buy, let's say, for example, a 2024 edition. We already have it. We have to wait until the 25, 26, 28, or 29 edition come out, so that we are always a few years ahead. So when we went back to Dr. Carpenter, we realized, well, we're not going to purchase that textbook this year because they don't have to do edition. So we were able to find some additional money to purchase those ones. It's just simple budgeting and preparation like we would do with your budget at home.
And I understand all that, especially sitting here tonight. You get a good education even in the few months that I've been there. One of the things, and I'll be honest with you, prior to me joining the board, sometimes I would see things happen that would give me pause, I guess you might say.
Right.
Like, where did that come from? So, and I know that there's, and believe me when I say this, since the beginning of the year during rework when I sat, a number of people have asked me that question, so I just thought it was pertinent to be able to go over that with folks. And it's interesting that you say that, because we didn't get snow this year, but we budgeted money for salt.
Absolutely.
And so that's, since we didn't budget money for salt, we did budget money for salt, it was there, but we didn't use it. But now we can do a tech orders, oversimplification, but just so that people can understand.
And for example, yesterday or the day before, we had a backup. Water coming in, all the places, whatever. You have to have money to get that fixed. And you have to call a vendor from the outside to come in, you have to be able to pay. Those are the things you have to have money, because they're unforeseen. You can't plan for things that you don't have an idea is going to happen. So again, with Mrs. Boyle's leadership, we are able to look at each line item, budget it, and also make sure that we're looking a year ahead for emergencies that we are unforeseen that we don't expect to happen. So at this point, normally Dr. Carpenter doesn't have any money. But at this point, unfortunately, the new textbooks weren't available to us, because we're not going to buy old textbooks and then in 1 year now they're obsolete. So we waited a year, and in doing so, we had money. So again, we, meaning Mrs. Boyle, myself, Carpenter, Mr. Davis, when we do these kinds of things, we can explain it to you. We can tell you why we're doing it, how we're doing it. But we also make these financial decisions for greater needs. We need those assistant principals. Without question, we've been trying to manage our building with one person, 5 kids. It's impossible. So we're in a position now where we can do it this year. We couldn't do it another year. So that's time. And hopefully in another year or two, I'm gonna come back and ask you because we still need one more because we still have a shared situation in 2 of our rooms. But that's what it is. Did I answer your question, sir? Thank you.
Mr. Shaw, can I just elaborate slightly? So, in addition to the budgeting process and the funds that are allocated to certain areas within the budget, all that financial information is then reviewed by our auditor to determine if there are inappropriate funds of money sitting somewhere. And I can go back 10 audits with Mrs. Boyle here, and she keeps getting this one finding. She didn't get any other findings. It's that she has too much money in the food account, and she can't spend it quickly enough. That's the worst that they can say, and we don't use it for any other purpose, because Ms. Boyle, correct me if I'm wrong, you can't. It's gotta be used and be put back into the food program, correct? So, and then there's a state organization, Office of Fiscal Responsibility, that also comes down on occasion. And I know they've been here many times since I've been here, that in addition to our normal auditor that we use to review the books, the state comes down and reviews the books, and they look at several different areas beyond finance. But if finance is a big component, they require us to produce a significant amount of documents. And I don't remember us ever getting less than 100. We've been shy in some other categories, but I think our financial responsibility through the state audits that we've been getting have been the highest that we can possibly receive. So I just want to, in addition to in-house, we also rely upon 2 additional sources outside this organization to tell us that we're doing well and we're good shepherds and stewards of the town's money.
Great, love it.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
No more questions, Mr. President. That was your next question.
Moving on to public comments.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Winslow Township Board of Education highly values the input of citizens in making important decisions that affect the children of our community. We believe in the rights of citizens to observe board meetings, to ensure that all of our citizens have the opportunity to attend school board meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the board can conduct the important business of the district. We ask that speakers follow the following guidelines for making public comment. The board secretary will recognize those individuals in the audience who wish to make public comment, and we'd ask you to respect the following procedures. 1, all members of the public attending school board meetings must treat each other and the board with respect. 2, please state your full name and town of residence. 3, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. 4, submit your questions to the board in the event we're unable to answer them this evening, along with your name, address, telephone number, and email address if possible, where you can be contacted, and your question will be answered within a reasonable time. And lastly, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make personal attacks on any district employee, board member, other testifier, or member of the public. Thank you, sir.
And have a motion to open public comments.
Motion to open public comments.
Second, Mr. Clark.
All in favor? That sounds so Okay. We got anybody signed up for public comments, Ms. Boyle?
Yes, Mr. President, Debbie Murray. Murphy, I'm sorry.
Good evening. I'm Debbie Murphy. I live in Super. One thing, it's actually not the right wing at this time right yet, but the girls lacrosse team had their first set of back-to-back wins since 2016. So we're really proud of that accomplishment. And then The guard on Sunday, they were from that Eastern. They won the Region 1 championship, so we brought them a banner, and they got a score of 92. And then the Winds placed second with a score of 79. Both groups are headed to the East Coast Championships. The Winds leave tomorrow for their semifinals, I think. And then the guard goes on Friday and Sunday. So you guys are available to support. Thank you.
Now, Ms. Murphy, so that we can be consistent with our acknowledgement of our young people and their successes, we're going to have you young ladies and young men come in and display that regional banner with us, like we do all the other championship kinds of things. So you think maybe you guys be ready for the next school board meeting?
That's the 14th.
Yes, it is.
I can talk to.
I'll ask Mr. Monroe to assist you with that. Okay? Thank you.
Dave Logan. Good evening. Okay. So I have been fighting for the proper support for my child at school 6. My child is in the classroom with a support aide from an outside contractor. I wanted to have a conversation, but wasn't allowed. In order to have a conversation, there's like a flaw in the system, and it calls for me to have a phone call with the contractor and then an email to a general mailbox and wait for a ticket to be addressed depending on the order of the incident. So the delay in response time makes issues linger. On Monday, I attempted to go to the school to chat with someone about an issue last Friday. I wasn't allowed by administrators. Let me be clear, I have never actually had an interaction where I have raised my voice or been a threat in a way besides asking questions on behalf of my child. That being said, security should have never been an option to be called to ask me to leave the premises while being a concerned parent trying to get clarity on a situation told to me by my 10-year-old. However, in previous instances at school 6, I have been yelled at and my child has been humiliated time and time again. As a parent, even with the frustrating circumstances, I still offer solutions rather than just complaining. I've been an active parent and will remain that regardless of how uncomfortable the conversations get. At this point, it's almost May tomorrow, and my 10-year-old has had a year full of traumatic experiences. From adults who are supposed to support him, I have received an email from an administrator stating having untied shoes was categorized as a behavior. To me, it actually highlights that if true, maybe the support services in OT should be increased since that is a concern. I can also say describing my child as having tantrums and behaviors are inaccurate. I'm asking the board to review the process for rectifying situations swiftly with outside contractors. And I'm curious as to what warrants security being called on a parent. I have never been treated that way in any other schools, and I actually think I deserve an apology.
Mrs. Bohill, I have one point to make in reference to clarification.
Okay.
Outside contractors, you're talking about the aides? So,
Yes.
okay. They are not responsible for scheduling meetings, nor would an aide be responsible for scheduling a meeting. If you want to have a meeting in the building, then you go through the building principal. It doesn't matter whether the aide is a direct or indirect employee of the district. All requests for meetings must go through the building principal. So I think, I don't know why, but you were misdirected by calling them to resolve immediate issues. They don't have that kind of authority. So at this point, I would redirect you to building principal to schedule a meeting in reference to whatever the issue may be.
I've actually went to the school to try to have a conversation with the building administrator.
Okay?
And that is where the whole security situation came into play, because I did not know that this individual was a contracted worker. I thought that it was a cafeteria worker, actually, or a school employee. My son just gave me the information of the person's name. So when I went to the school and I gave the name, then that's when I found out that it was not a district employee. So once they said that,
I think there's still a misunderstanding.
but I didn't want a meeting, I wanted a conversation, because an adult calling my child a name is unacceptable. That's what I'm saying.
Let me respond. Ms. Bowman. The person may not be employed by the school district, but if he or she is in the building, that person falls under the jurisdiction of the building principal. Doesn't matter. Okay? Now, I don't want to discuss whatever occurred personally in that building and why security had to be called. We don't normally do that, and I don't want to do that in a public meeting. Exactly. If you call me tomorrow, so that I can get a better idea and let me have an opportunity to speak to the building principal, because I'm quite sure there's something other than, that needs to be addressed. So at this point, call me tomorrow. I will be available after 12 o'clock because I have an outside meeting to attend tomorrow. So if you will call me after 12 o'clock so I can meet with you and find out the details of how all this came about.
I don't have a problem with doing that, but if I don't feel like it's addressed, I'll be back the next meeting.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
So you have that.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. President, that concludes those that have signed up. Is there anybody on the phone line?
Not at this time. Not at this time.
Not at this time. Thank you.
I have a motion to close public comments.
Motion to close public comments.
Second, Mr. Clark.
All in favor? Aye.
Yes, we do have in speaking with Dr. Kuti, we do have a short executive session. In accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, we'll be adjourning into executive session on April 30th, 2025 at 8:25 p.m. of the 9 exceptions, utilizing number 8, matters relating to performance and positions. It does not have to do with any one individual, but Dr. Kuti has an opportunity to have discussions with the board, and he indicated that it would be short, so I'm going to indicate for the record that we should be in executive session approximately 15 to 20 minutes. Is that sufficient, Dr. Kuti?
That's more than enough time, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Can I have a motion to approve moving into executive session?
Motion to move into executive session.
Second, Mr. Clark.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Reagan? Ms. Claude? Yes. Ms. Martin? Yes. Mr. McMahon?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson? Yes. Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Motion has carried.